65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park.
Hello and welcome to your award-winning The Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week. And today we have the Patreon exclusive retrospective special. We like to do these every month and a half to give you special extra content for our Patreon backers. They get it a full month ahead of everyone else, and then it releases publicly at the earliest 30 days later. So if you're on Patreon, you're enjoying this Jurassic Park retrospective. And with me today is someone who I, up until recently, realized he told me that it is his favorite movie of all time. This is why he jumped right in on the host's Discord on, I want to be on this retrospective. And it's from Lazy Gaming, guys. Mr. Julian joining us today. Jurassic Julian, welcome on.
Hello, everybody. Rar, I'm here. I love this movie. Anybody who has anything negative to say about it can fight me.
I like that roar. It was almost sensual a little bit.
It's a little thing I picked up at the bars.
So very much like the previous retrospectives, we're going to talk about the story and the characters first. Then for this one especially, we're going to head into the special effects and then talk a little bit about trivia facts or things that we picked up. I watched the Netflix documentary on the movies that made us for Jurassic Park, so I've got some neat facts as we talk about it, which I'll probably sprinkle in as it pops up. But before we talk about some of the characters in the film itself, some of the actors too, Julian, I do want to get your background before I go into mine on Jurassic Park. Is this a movie that you saw in theaters, and what does it mean to you having been a movie that you grew up with?
Okay, so Jurassic Park, I actually never grew up with I did grow up with this movie. I never saw it in theaters. This is not my first theater movie. This is the first big VHS take care of me kind of movie. My parents pretty much showed me this movie, and then ever since then it pretty much was like, oh, we need to keep him entertained for 2 hours. For an hour or something. Let's put on this movie. He's gonna watch it. He's gonna imitate what's going on screen. Yada yada blah blah blah. To the point where in the scene near the end, I would grab my sister since she was older than me. I'm like, you're gonna be the little sister, and I'm gonna be the younger brother, and you're gonna freak out about that. We're gonna freak out about the dinosaur, and then also near the end, we're gonna jump all over the couch and freaking act like we're on the dinosaur bar. Oh, the dinosaur part's breaking off. It was. And she still remembers that and still talks about how funny it is sometimes whenever we start reminiscing about things. It's a childhood love that never stopped. I had a bunch of the toys and even the ones where they had the little chunks missing out of them where you pull the lever and it's oh, look, dinosaur inside.
That's a good memory. Recreating the scenes in the movie, using your couch and whatever else is around the living room. I never did anything like that I remember with my siblings. We would watch it and we would play other games, but never recreating. So Jurassic Park at this point, how old were you when you were doing these things?
4 or 5, I believe.
So it wasn't too scary for you or anything like that when you first watched it.
Oh, no. Jurassic Park wasn't scary. There was no part of it that because from what I remember, everyone's oh, it's supposed to be a thriller. It's supposed to be this thriller movie. It's supposed to be this action thriller movie. It's it's supposed to be scary. This movie's supposed to be scary.
Well, that's the thing. When Kelly and I were debating showing this to Leo for the first time, because he's big on dinosaurs, the dinosaurs are pretty realistic looking, even to today's standards. Now, they're not accurate as to what we now know certain dinosaurs to look like, but as far as the CGI and the special effects, I was like, this might be a little intense for Leo. You see T-Rex eats the blood-sucking lawyer, unfortunately. The guy's arm gets severed and comes off, Samuel L. Jackson's. So there's some scenes there that I was like, I don't know. But he sees it all the time. He loves it. It's just something that's cool to see. Dinosaurs running around. And I'll ask him, I'm like, is the T-Rex the bad guy? And he's like, no, he's not the bad guy. He just thinks all the dinosaurs are cool. None of them are bad guys because they're all... I don't know. He just likes the dinosaurs. Yeah, I guess so. Plus, the T-Rex at the end saves the main characters from the Velociraptor, so therefore redeemed.
Yeah, the Velociraptors are the bad guys.
That's right. Yeah, and the world's quietest T-Rex. He sneaks up on everyone all the time.
It's how how did you not see him coming? Also, how did you not see him burst his fat ass through the wall somewhere?
I don't know how he got in there at the end. When he got in the museum and he grabs the raptor, I'm like, what entrance could he have possibly come in at?
Maybe there was a broken window somewhere and they just walked in.
So that's cool. So you were pretty young when you watched Jurassic Park. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I'd have to ask my parents, and I may when I see them tomorrow, just out of curiosity. But it was a VHS movie for sure, including the sequels. I remember for every Christmas, I would ask for the next one, The Lost World and then Jurassic Park 3. And then that's how we would get them. You know, we would get them for the holidays. And they'd be fun and they'd be great. I, too, don't remember being scared of watching Jurassic Park. I was big on dinosaurs, too, but I don't remember seeing this on repeat like Leo does, or maybe like you and your sister did. But it was still a pretty big part of my childhood because I do remember getting my mom got me these kids' dinosaur magazines at 7-Eleven when I was really young, and they'd be like these 3D pages that it would come with these little glasses. And so dinosaurs were always fascinating from a younger age, living in Chicago, going to the Field Museum and seeing the big Brachiosaurus skeleton in the very front there. It was definitely a very big part of my childhood. And so Jurassic Park just kind of helped with that. And it was a phenomenal hit worldwide. I mean, it changed special effects in cinema for forever, for years to come. And we'll get into that as far as like the stop motion versus the CGI, because there was some of that in the film. But let's talk about the characters here and the growth as far as the story. You've got Sam Neill playing Grant, Laura Dern playing Ellie, Jeff Goldblum, of course, playing Mr. Malcolm, Ian Malcolm, Richard Attenborough playing Dr. Hammond, Bob Peck playing Muldoon. And then, yeah, go ahead.
So, interesting thing about Bob Peck, I've actually seen one of his other. I didn't realize it was him in another movie I watched, and it's like this. I think it was called The Opium War or something like that. Someone showed me this Chinese history drama or something, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the guy from Jurassic Park in that movie. What's he doing in here? It's like this. I forget what the movie's about, but I remember him being in it, and it had like all these like Chinese actors and shit in it. But it's like, yeah, it's The Opium War. Yeah, definitely what it's called, because it was. I remember it because it was a long movie. I forget why I was watching this movie with somebody, but they just said, "Let's watch this," and I'm like, okay. It was might have been one of those times where it's just us just watching shit that we could get for free off of torrenting.
Was he playing basically the same character in that? Like another hunter type?
I think he was playing some kind of like one of those, you know how it is, white people who come to fucking whatchamacallit. I don't think he was teaching people about Jesus or something. I think he was like a soldier. I think he was a soldier or something in that movie.
Gotcha. But it is a great cast of characters, great cast of actors too. And what's different from, I'm reading the book right now as I'm going through right before we get to Jurassic World Dominion, and that's a big reason why I wanted to do this retrospective. I try to do them either after a big movie release, like we just did with The Amazing Spider-Man, and now leading up into Jurassic World Dominion. So in case, I'm sure a lot of brokettes, if they're going to watch Jurassic World Dominion, they're probably going to go back and revisit some of these old films, at least the first one, because a bunch of these actors do show up in Jurassic World Dominion. This is kind of like the send-off to all of them. They're calling it the end, supposedly, of the Jurassic Park movies, and I don't believe it, but that's what they're saying. And so it kind of looks that way when you bring back the original cast, almost like Star Wars style, but even better. Like someone on Twitter was saying Star Wars could never, because they didn't have any of these actors together in the Star Wars films like they do in Jurassic Park or in Jurassic World Dominion. So in this case, Dr. Hammond, as far as the book, in the book, he's trying to make money. He's more like the bloodsucking lawyer in the movie, where he's like, this is all for money. And he has the line of, we can make $10,000, charge $10,000 a day and think of the merch. And I'm like, okay, so Dr. Hammond is a little bit different here. He's more like a deranged Walt Disney or something in the film. Like he wants his dream world to succeed and to be there. He talks about the flea circus and how he just wants to amaze people. Is that kind of what you got from Dr. Hammond? Did you feel like he was a deranged theme park type of excite dude?
Yeah, because like he's like, it's like the scientific discovery that I find it paid for. You paid for this. You didn't do a damn thing. You paid for people to go out and find out how to bring back that. How they found out someone played, I know how to bring back dinosaurs, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna fund this shit. And then you see that's like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. And then you just went ahead and fucking made all this stuff, and now you just got crazy eccentric and decide. Even he even quotes in the movie, fucking like, when Walt Disney opened, Disneyland in 1956, nothing worked. It's like, ha ha ha. It's like, dude, you worked. It's like, see, that's the whole thing. It's like, oh my god, he's trying to be he's like Walt Disney, and Walt Disney figured out how to freaking play God, I guess, without like any of the implications. It's like, how can I use it? It's like, literally, it's like the first circus. People who started the first circuses, it's like, how I see these animals. How do I make them sing and dance and do stuff?
Right. Yeah. And that's when Dr. Malcolm even says, yeah, but when the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't kill the guests.
Well, not yet anyway.
Yeah, true.
Not yet anyway. With Five Nights at Freddy's shit going on, give it time.
It's going to be like in The Simpsons when they go to Itchy and Scratchy Land and then the cameras is what broke them.
Oh my god, that actually I remember that. I remember that episode because it's one of the few episodes that I actually remember watching in The Simpsons. And I said, is that why we're not supposed to turn on use the flash photography? Not because of, it's a dark room and it suddenly the flash photography, you develop that picture and suddenly you see how fake the rest of the building looks.
Right. Yeah. And in this one, Dr. Hammond also hires Nedry to run the park basically on minimal staff. And that's another thing that they're trying to save a lot of money in that way. They didn't make it as clear in the movie, but in the book, they're like, yeah, we're trying to cut staff like crazy and just have the very minimum to run itself, basically, to have everything as automated as possible. And you see a lot of that in here with the Jeeps driving themselves, and they stop and go and they show you the different habitats of the dinosaurs. But for Hammond, something that I kind of asked Kelly, and maybe you got the same answer, but I still haven't gotten that clear in the book either. When he brought on the paleontologist and the mathematician, was it to satisfy the lawyer because he was the one who would say, yes, we're going to continue to fund this, or no, we're going to shut you down? Or what was the deal with him wanting to bring these people on along with the lawyer?
I feel like it was I guess he didn't really care about the lawyer. He wanted to get, I don't know. I really don't, still to this day, don't understand why in the hell he brought Malcolm. I rewatched the movie. I'm like, I still don't know what the point of this is. Is he a friend? Is he a big name that you can get to just be in this, as to like just say, hey, come to this thing? It's like, would you want like an actual actor or something? But I guess you wouldn't want an actual actor because when shit hit the fan, it's like that would have been worse. But he didn't expect shit to hit the fan though. So, but like have the paleontologist come, it's like, holy shit, real dinosaurs. Fucking, we're paleontologists and everything's accurate. Everything's so accurate, and because he had all this stuff ready, and before they actually showed up and realized, wait a minute, it's like you just put these dinosaurs in a world that they don't understand, and then like when they're going through the cars and then the sick fucking Triceratops thing, which I didn't get for a while. It's like, oh right, I didn't get when I was younger that it ate food that technically it wasn't supposed to eat, because the things are just gonna fucking they're dinosaurs. They're gonna just fucking eat whatever grass that they see. Ooh, green stuff, eat it. And it's like, oh no, you have something on here that's bad for it because you planted it here because it looks pretty.
Right. Yes, and that tells you that they're not running the park to the standard of let's care for these dinosaurs. They really know nothing about what they're doing, really.
Yeah, it's not the same extent to what they did with Animal Kingdom. How the people who when they first did it, because they're like, okay, so we have to get experts on this, and this before we lay down anything. It's like fucking gorilla experts. How do we fucking have a gorilla habitat without making gorillas fucking and still make the park look like it's like, okay, so pretty much the animal habitats have to look different from the rest of the area. It's like you can figure out how to make the rest of the animal areas look like all Disneyfied later. Not like saying like you can figure out how to put Mickey Mouse heads and all the shit later. No. I'm talking about like it's like fucking make a habitat that looks natural first, is their first inclining, and then figure out how to get all your fucking Disney ride shit in afterwards. Like in the Kilimanjaro Safari, where it's like, okay, so we have to make a den where the lion's actually going to be there, but we don't want them to be able to fucking, be able to leap over the fucking cars when they can see, or be able to see the other animals in the distance. Because that's the other thing. They have it set up to where the lions can't see any of the other animals from a good distance. So like the lionesses don't just start trying to do massive leaps over the ride areas and then start fucking eating eating the damn elephants, or how like some of the habitats have like chains and shit, and the animals won't step over the chains or anything. They don't have any animals that can like climb over shit. Any animal that can like climb over shit, they have like certain fencing, and it's like blocked off. You can't reach the tigers. You can't reach it. You can't get close to the tigers because they know better. You can't get close to the gorillas because you know better. It's, you got to put actual work in. Unlike in Jurassic Park, where you look at it, it's like, oh, they just stuck them in Costa Rica because it's like, oh, tropical fucking shit. It's like it was always humid back then. It's like they read an elementary school and a high school textbook about dinosaurs and didn't really like get anybody who studied this kind of stuff, and it's like, oh, what did they eat? What did they do stuff? He's like, you hired Grant and Ellie a little late. You should have hired them from the word go before you started getting the dinosaur. When you figured out how to put the dinosaurs, when you figured out how to make the dinosaurs, you should have been like, okay, we need to make habitats for these dinosaurs that make sense because that's what they did, and they talked about that in Jurassic World, where they had a lot more people working on making it, trying to do it again. It's like, we're going to do what Hammond did, but do it better, because somebody realized, oh shit, you can't just make a dinosaur zoo and stick them wherever. You actually have to do work, because zoos are a lot more work than you think, asshole.
And there's other things too that he did here, like when the T-Rex, they just put a goat in there, or the Velociraptors, they just throw a cow in there. And that's when Grant was talking about, they don't want to be fed, they want to hunt. He's talking about how they're just going about everything the wrong way. Mm-hmm. It's really showing you exactly how crazy bad this zoo could actually get. So we're talking about the unhappiness of the dinosaurs at first, but it just happens to be, for the sake of the story and the movie, that Nedry is going to betray everyone at the park. Newman, let's just call him Newman.
Let's talk about, they're calling him his actual name in this. It's Newman. We know it's Newman.
He acts like Newman.
He gets hired to fucking, it's like, oh, I'm gonna steal this for whatever company, yada yada, blah blah blah. I don't care with that one white guy who I still don't remember his name.
Oh, Dodson.
Dodson.
Yeah, Dodson.
Dodson. Okay. Yeah, it's like, steal the fucking thing, and then we'll take it and we'll make our own dinosaur park, with blackjack and hookers or whatever. And so, like, but the whole thing about it is, why in the hell? It's like, you make it so automated that if that one dude literally just shutting down a couple things, you had one dude set up your entire security system that is not only linked to your security system is linked to multiple different security systems, to the other security systems, especially the dinosaur related ones. Why is it that I turn off the cooler, when I turn off the freaking freezer that keeps all the dinosaur DNA specimens cold, suddenly it also turns off the electrical padlocks to keep all dinosaurs from running around the park willy-nilly. That makes no sense. It's not like your house has one fucking switch that turns off every single thing. No, it turns off one each room at a time. It's just it's like they were asking for him to ruin everything. It's like they didn't even question it. It's like, oh, just turn this on. It's like, whatever. And the fact is, you have Samuel L. Jackson, who's supposed to be like helping you run this shit, but he doesn't know how to fix everything without this dude's help. He knows how to fix some things, but not all of it. It's like, I guess you just couldn't get another nerd out there that would understand.
No. Newman was the only one. And he was also, again, bad timing, because as soon as he shut those things down, this is when things go wrong. Like they're unhappy. It's a shitty zoo, whatever. But now they're running around, and the zoo is out of control. Like, good luck catching a T-Rex. Good luck, because they, from what I understand, they hatched them there and they kept them there. I doubt they transported. Maybe they did, but I doubt they transported the T-Rex like they did the Velociraptor at the beginning of the film, where the guy gets eaten. Great scene. Shoot her!
Shoot her! Shoot her! And you just see the dude's hand to slip through. No! It's like, wow, good grip there, buddy. You'd think they wouldn't have just eaten around him. It's like how they, or the the first scene with the velociraptors, it's like they're looking in there. It's like, why? It's like these are hunting monsters. They don't want to be seen because and literally they've been paying attention to how you've been lowering that bitch in there. And one of those days, the velociraptor is going to see that thing being pulled up, and suddenly they're going to latch onto that motherfucker and jump and use that to jump off, electrical fence or not. They were going to figure out how to do it. I bet they fucking got the electrical fence and like, this is like, oh shit, Susan got slapped. Okay, we're not going to do that.
What I love about this too is they have this great setup at the beginning where Grant is at the dig and they're looking at the velociraptor and the kid is giving him shit about it. Like, that doesn't look scary. And he's telling him about the raptors and how, it's not the one you're looking at that's going to get you. It's the one that's been next to you and that's been hunting you on the side that's going to flank you, and that's the one that's going to get you. And that's what ends up happening to the hunter later on. So it's just a cool little detail that I remembered watching it this time, because as a kid, it's like, all right, let's get to the dinosaur parts, whatever. But watching it as an adult, it's like there's a lot of little setups like that where it makes sense and you see it and you see him get killed.
I love it because, like, parents, your son and our daughter is being traumatized in front of you. Whose child is this? Clearly, it's one of the diggers' child. You don't just have a random child sitting here. It's like one of the paleontologists, like, stop him from. It's like, we need to teach our kid a lesson for interrupting him. It's like, no one parent's gonna sit there and let their weirdo dinosaur obsessed friend just sit there with their raptor claw and just kind of just fuck with him. It's like, no, fucking get away from me, get away. It's like, oh, my kid. It's like, okay, Grant, you made your point. Fucking put the shit away. It's like, weirdo.
And when it's eating you, you're still alive.
You're still alive, and it like eats your, and it like guts your belly. It's like, oh my god, chill.
And that's one thing let's talk about Dr. Grant, because his character arc, we studied this in film class, Kelly and I, but at least the thing about character progression, as far as in a lot of movies, the character's journey changes from A to B, and usually a vast change. Like when it's a good story, there's like a massive change in the character. And in this case for Dr. Grant, he doesn't like kids, talks about how smelly they are, he hates them. And Ellie's like, no, I love kids. And he's like, no, why? And then as you see him progress, you get to the park and he sees the two kids and he's annoyed by them, especially the little boy who's like, you really think dinosaurs turned into birds? Because they don't look like birds to me. And he's contradicting everything from his book that he read. And he's like, yeah, this other guy said that they died from disease, that they didn't die from a meteor like in your book. And his book is a lot thicker than yours. And yours has illustrations. They're just...
It's like when I was younger, I kind of just tuned that scene out, and then I remember because I'm too busy watching them like go in and out the neat cars. And then I looked at like, oh my god, he's like he's dissecting this book. It's like he can't stop this kid because this kid's not the other kid. The other kid's like, I'm just some kid who just understand dinosaurs are fucking like dinosaurs are just lizards. And this other kid's like, no, I know what dinosaurs are. I fucking read multiple dinosaur books. I'm a super fan and nerd, and I almost get eaten by a couple of them. And I don't know how that's gonna affect how much you like dinosaurs. But he went home and burnt all those books. But like one of the scenes like that shows like Dr. Grant. At first, it's like Dr. Malcolm goes on his like the lack of humidity for nature and yada, his whole like big spiel and the table banging and all that stuff. And then the whole thing is Dr. Grant's like pretty much even just sitting there at the dinner table after seeing like the velociraptor and everything. It's like, holy shit, these are killing machines that we as people have no real fucking way to stop. They can run as fast as cheetahs and we can barely deal with cheetahs. And these things are stronger than cheetahs. Like 65 million years or whatever how he said in evolution, just suddenly, bam! How could what do we? It's like we can't expect anything. This shit's wild.
Yeah, they can't even guess as to what to expect. To just have these animals now back in the modern world, you can't anticipate in any way, just based on the millions of years of separation and overall what little they knew and what we know about dinosaurs even today, because we can only guess and speculate as to their behaviors and their eating and all of that by what we find, and it's not a whole lot. I'm sure that we're going to continue to refine and get more accurate as time goes on, but if you were to just have dinosaurs now, it's like, okay, holy shit.
It's like how when the the hunter fucking guy, he's talking to that's like Dr. Grant asks, do they show intelligence? Like with their brains? He didn't say like with their brains, but it's like he's like, oh yeah, they show intelligence, even problem solving skills. Fucking
He talks about
it's like they talks about like the big one, and they apparently she killed all of them, but two they had 8. She killed all the weak ones. It's like holy shit, she left literally only 3 of them. It's like, okay, you 2 are good, kill the other ones. Help me kill the other ones because we need to eat.
Yeah, and then they coordinated attacking the weaknesses of their enclosure. Like they're intelligent creatures. Like he was saying, they should all be destroyed. I love that line too.
It's like why? It's like fucking. He's like, oh, park's gone down. Electro's fence is down. It's fucking time. Well, finally time to get to do what I've been wanting to do for months.
Yes.
Fucking shotgun one of these bitches, shotgun the damn raptors down, because as soon as they got out, we're not getting out. He knew once they were out, they weren't escaping.
They should have had a scene of him like at least taking out one of them. You know what I mean? Like just to show like, oh, he was kind of a badass.
Nah, but I think he had to shoot one. I think he had to like actually try to like shoot at them before, and they realized and they noticed it, because it's like that was way too. It's like they. Clearly, there's a scene here we are missing where when during the beginning, like he had to like shoot them to deal with the feeders, and the biggest one picked up on it. It's like, he's shooting. Look how he's sitting there. Should probably. He's like he's doing what we do. He's waiting for us to move. So let's trick him by having one of us just sit there. It's like you just stand there. Just stand there. It's like he's not going to shoot me. He's like, nah, you'll be fine. I'm gonna eat him.
Oh, I love that, Hunter. But yeah, just to finish off Dr. Grant's little arc, though. So he hates the kids, but he very quickly, when you get to the T-Rex scene, and he has this instinct to protect them, to go and save them. And then he gets close to the kids and he talks about how, they're like, he left us. He's just like, but that's not what I'm going to do. Then he talks about staying up with them. And there's this great scene, and I didn't understand it until Leo and Kelly kind of brought this up, when he has the little raptor claw and he's sitting up in the trees with the Brachiosaurus, and they're sleeping. He takes the raptor claw and he throws it. And Leo says, why'd he throw it? Why'd he throw it? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess because, like he was saying earlier, that they're out of a job now. He doesn't need it anymore because they have real raptors. And Kelly brings up this amazing point of, or it symbolically represents, like earlier in the film, he was pretending to gut the kid and with that claw, so it symbolically represents that he's no longer, his feelings are changing about kids, and by him throwing that claw that he was terrorizing a kid with, that tells you that. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. Like my wife figured it all out.
I never thought about that. I forget that scene. I never really pay attention to the fact that he throws away that claw. Holy crap! I just learned something. I learned something new about this movie every time I give it a good actual sit down and watch. Holy crap!
Yeah. When she said that, I'm like, oh man, that makes so much sense. Of course, like that's a Steven Spielberg thing, I'm sure, or something. Someone.
Steven Spielberg and daddy issues.
Yeah, he does have those.
Fucking because I'm like, it's in Jaws, it's in E.T. It's like fucking Steven Spielberg, get your shit together. It's even in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like in Indiana Jones, it's like there in presence. It's like you will. It's like, Father, you put me through shit over your obsessions, and now you will understand mine.
Yeah, he has that for sure, and I guess he worked it out in Dr. Grant along with the screenwriter, of course, screenwriters. So that was his little arc. I think that's the major one. I don't think any other character really has a progression except for maybe John Hammond, by him realizing at the very end this was a mistake. Can you think of any other characters that had any kind of major growth by the end of the film?
Okay, let's see. Ellie didn't have any growth. She's just like, I'm woman. I'm the sane one. I'm the sane one out of most of these people around here.
Pretty much, yeah. Because she convinces Hammond that you're still in the flea circus. You're not. This isn't a good thing. This is all a sham.
Yeah, it's like just sitting there in the gift shop, in that fucking gift shop where as a kid, I'm like, oh fuck, I want that, I want that, I want that, and it's like he's just sitting there. It's like, why are you just? It's like, dude, it's like, I get it. This whole thing's going to shit, and the only thing you could and pretty much he's just like, I'm just gonna eat this ice cream that's thawing out. And like just polishing off all this ice cream,
all these tubs around them,
and pretty much like, It's like, yeah, it's hell. It was hella nuts. And then she's like always there. Dr. Grant's like fucking, you could have just, if you wanted to scare him, you should have just shot at him.
But yeah, I can't think of anyone else because Dr. Ian Malcolm, let's talk about Jeff Goldblum because that was a fun character and a bizarre character, not just because it's Jeff Goldblum and he is basically himself. Like at one point at the beginning when you first see him, he reaches out and he touches John Hammond's knee and you can tell that was unscripted because Hammond like kind of recoils, but then he plays into it like, no, stop it. But I'm like, now seeing enough Goldblum interviews, that he just likes touching people, like oddly and weirdly.
It's like, Jeff, why are you touching? It's like, are you trying to connect with is that you trying to connect with somebody? Are you trying to transfer your alien powers for us to understand you? Is that what's happening? But in the movie, it's like this the whole scene with chaos theory. Every time my brain just kind of goes like, why? I get why this is happening because we put Jeff Goldblum in this movie. We have to make him a weirdo for 5 minutes. That's how I felt like a couple of years ago. It's like, oh, this is just Jeff Goldblum being weird. It's being odd. It's like I still to this day cannot figure out why in the heck of all the people. It's like, are they friends? Is he friends with Dr. Hammond? That has to be the reason, right? Because it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
The lawyer brought him because remember Hammond says, I bring 2 paleontologists, you bring a rock star. I bring scientists and you bring a rock star. And he's talking to the lawyer. So the lawyer brought him on, and that's how it is in the book too. But in the book, they don't really say why they need the mathematician there. And maybe the brokehead on the other side can eventually tweet us like, you idiots, they said it right here. But
maybe it was to help. I don't know. Maybe it was to help him figure out how to market it, I guess. It's like, but they don't bring a mathematician. You bring a goddamn accountant.
But I'm glad he went there. He obviously wasn't on Hammond's side. Neither were the scientists. And you see that in that scene. He's like, the only one on my side is the blood-sucking lawyer.
And he's like, thank you. Like, lawyer who, the way he went out, it's like unfortunate, but it's gold.
I love that lawyer though. Like he was like, look at this. And when the kid is picking up the goggles and he's like, are they heavy? Yeah, then they're expensive. Put them back.
It's like, oh, thanks. Okay. It's like, okay, Dad, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Uncle. I didn't mean to touch your expensive toys.
And he was right about the tickets still. Like I always bring this up when I used to work at the comic shop and Pokemon cards. Like people were buying packs at $7, and I'm like, we should be charging $9.99 for these. And my coworker was like, "You're like that lawyer in Jurassic Park."
You can
have
a coupon day.
we'll have a coupon day. Yeah, our park's not meant to be enjoyed just for the ultra elite. Yeah, we'll have a coupon day or something.
The way Disney's going now, I'm starting to think that. But what else is other there? Because I will argue this every single time. The children in this movie might be one of the few times where children actors do not feel forced or annoying.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's like, if I'm willing to imitate the actual children in a movie, you did something right. And it's and it's not like me just imitating them because like, haha, I'm a child, I relate. No. When Power Rangers tried to do that, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. It's like, no one liked when they had a child when they had a literal child being a Power Ranger because it was weird. But no. It's like, the older sister it's like she actually had knowledge about computers. She didn't really care about the dinosaur shit. She was only there because, Grandpa wants to invite us to a dinosaur park in Costa Rica. Huh? Okay. The boy's like, I'm gonna go, and the old sister's like, yeah, it's fucking what Grandpa wants. And then she sees all this computer stuff, and it's like, oh, look at this, and blah 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 blah. And it's like it's actual setup. They give the children reason. They actually and then so it sets it up for, oh, I understand this OS system. Fucking It's like, what? It's like, Hammond, did you ever ask your teenage granddaughter about who knows about computers if she knew anybody else famous that could help with this kind of thing? Really?
I do like that hacking scene too, where it's like this 3D, like, oh, here's the file over here, and now we're gonna go to the 90s idea of this is how you hack a computer.
Well, it's better than what it usually is in movies, where it's just clickety clap, tappity tap tap. Fucking, I'm pressing a bunch of buttons on a keyboard, and that's how hacking works. It's actually just a bunch of mouse dragging. It's mostly just it's like, no, 3D mouse dragging. It's funny. And then like the scene that I think the only scene that I was that actually had me a little bit like unnerved as a kid was the scene where the raptors are chasing the kids through
The chef's kitchen, right?
the chef's kitchen and shit, where they're like, and then like, oh no, they don't understand how mirrors work. So conveniently for him, he did not die. And then so they got to run, and then like they don't understand ice. There's like all the ice stuff, and how the girl just screams bloody horror running and just slams the door into the raptor's head as it tries to go in there, and it's like it's not going to kill it, but it's still hilarious. It's still hilarious, and then we should be fine as long as they don't know how to open doors. And then you just when you see them open door, you just hear that Homer Simpson quote dough, just Homer Simpson dough in the background. It's like, oh my god, the Raptors figured out how to open doors. One, why do you even have turn handle doors like that? For that, it's like, well, that was the one thing I never understood when I watched this movie as a teenager. It's like, this is like a super fancy theme park. Why do you even have doors that open like that? Even Disney has doors where you pull open, or you just push or pull open and lock from one side.
That's one part that does take me out a little bit, and the same problem in Aliens, because in this one, like, oh, they just figured out how to use doors, and like, I get they're smart creatures, but they don't have hands. The thing isn't meant for raptor claw. I don't know, like, it was a little much to me, where it's like, oh, they can literally turn the handle, just like in Aliens when Ripley and Newt go in the elevator, they go up, it's like, great, and then later on the Queen also comes out of the elevator. It's like, what, did the Queen also figure out how to push the buttons and go? Like, that shit's like, oh, come on.
Oh,
and I get
her fat ass just fucking pressed a button and somehow slowly just every floor ding 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 ding. I guess that's the excuse I put in my head, because that's the only thing that makes any sense. Also, Barbasol must have paid a fortune to be in this.
Oh yeah, man.
Because it's like, hey, I now know Barbasol now. I will never forget Barbasol. Also, of course, I think it was Windows they were using in the movie the entire time.
It might have been, yeah.
Product placement wasn't lost on me. I see it. I see it all over the place. And also, what were those dishes they were eating? Is it local? The food they were supposed to. The food they showed when they in the thing. When I was like young, I'm like, ugh, this doesn't look appetizing at all. And then I'm older. I'm sitting there watching this film, like, is this supposed to be Costa Rican food? Because it doesn't look very good. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look very good either. Because it's like it's not even close. It's like it's not even the same kind of. And then also I thought, why don't they serve something that looks like this at Universal? It's like they don't serve anything that looks like this. The food they serve at Universal actually is like a whole fucking like Costa Rican jerk chicken or some kind of shit like that. It's an island jerk chicken or something stupid like it. It's good, but it's like it's nothing like they show in the movie. It's shown in the movie, and then I remembered, like, wait a minute, he has essentially like this weird, I'm like the small mini theater. He's showing them like freaking slideshows on about all this stuff. It's like, when did you have time to take all these pictures? It's like, you set up all this dinosaur stuff before you even. It's like, you really did set this whole thing up before you figured out anything. Any of this shit's gonna work. You really did Walt Disney this, but it's like, it's not Walt Disney with a bunch of pulleys and like plywood passed into a castle. It's freaking dinosaurs, John Hammond. It's like people just don't make zoos and then stick animals in them and then start hire and then suddenly start hiring people who know what they're doing after the fact.
I also love that in the not the slideshow, but in the presentation with the ride, like John Hammond has his little cards, like, it's your blood, like that whole scene. And it's like, from you, John. So that scene, that whole ride, was it meant, like, was John going to be there for the ride every time it ran? Because it was specifically made for him to be learning these lines and running it. Like, that to me, I was like, okay, I guess John's gonna just be there all the time on that, or hire
convincing that, or it's gonna end up like the Terminator show that they used to have, where convincing old men that look close to him. Because trust me, it's not like it's hard. I mean, David Attenborough is a very recognizable face in movies, but it's like, you can still get another old man that looks close to him, and most people at the theme park aren't gonna question it.
Yeah, there used to be, even here at MegaCon, there used to be a guy every year who would dress up as John Hammond, the white outfit and the cane with the little thing at the top, and for year after year, he'd be running around. So you're right, it is very common, and it's not really a tough thing to pull off.
Heck, they did it for when they opened Islands of Adventure. They had like a dude running around, looking like Richard Attenborough. It's like, all right, I don't think that was the real one. I think he was dead before then. And research, it's all it takes is a click, and no, it may have been him.
No, I don't think it would.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It would have. I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll have to look this up for my own sake later, because I doubt there's any actual record of him actually do. No, they wouldn't. They already spent so much money on that. I don't think they would have gotten him to actually do it. It would have been somebody totally different.
On this rewatch too, I noticed that on the scene where the T-Rex first comes out and they have the flare, right? And Dr. Grant throws it, and the T-Rex almost looks like it's going to go after the flare back into its habitat. But then Ian Malcolm comes out and he's like, hey, and he has a flare too. Like, when I was a kid, I'm just like, oh, they're just trying to save the kids. But now I'm like, Ian's a fucking dumbass. Like, Grant had this. And now it's going to go chase him. It's going to eat the lawyer. It's going to stick around this area. Or, like, Grant almost had him, because Grant was slowly moving the flare, and then he threw it. And so the T-Rex could actually see. But Ian was just running around, and he just flails it. And the T-Rex is like, no, I want to get you, the guy that's running.
It's like, wait, no, I can see. It's like, what's that weird light? It's like, there's nothing going over there. It's like, no, I'm going to go after the thing that actually just that's running and shouting and making noise like any other random animal that I'm chasing. It's like, good job, dude.
If Ian had not done that, we would have avoided all of this. Like, really.
Yeah, it would have, or at least they could have, or everybody could have at least, like, as soon as the T-Rex got out of sight, they could have been like, okay, we're running for the bathroom. We're gonna stay in here until he leaves.
But you know what? That's chaos theory, because we didn't know that. Who would have expected Ian Malcolm to run out with the flare? So it just comes back to it.
It's like, see, no one would have expected for Dr. Grant to get out of the vehicle. That's chaos theory. It's like everyone just leaving. Everyone just gets out of vehicles. It's like, I don't think we should be out here. It's like, shut up, lawyer, man. Everyone's gonna do what they want. Everybody's gonna do what they want. They already broke the rules with the ride. And it's like, It's like they just break the handles. It's like, thank God, you can't do that. When you're on the carousel of progress, you don't need to be stuck behind a stupid little thing when the thing goes around in circles. It's just a circle, pretty much, just to make sure there's someone standing there telling people they can't leave. But of course the doctors are going to want to leave and see how the fucking dinosaurs are made. Come on. It's like, you think they were going to actually pay attention to the tour you set up? It's like, no. These are paleontologists who suddenly found out that dinosaurs are real and then you just showed them you just put the lab in front of them. This isn't like, oh, this is the dinosaur rehabilitation lab where we fucking heal the dinosaurs who fell and got boo-boos. No, this is the room where they actually fucking brought these things back into our reality.
And I do like that when they're talking about how they can't breed and how they're all female, they very quickly explain that when Grant comes across the eggs, and he's like, well, they said they use frog DNA to fill in the gaps, and some frogs have been known to change sex so that they can breed and continue to. So they were very quick to and now they're breeding, and they're around the park. They're out loose. And there's going to be more dinosaurs now, both male and female. This is well out of control. Very quickly too.
Yay! And it's like, oh, and that was it was wild. It's like, so. It's like, I never really understood that until, older, because I don't understand the meaning of, I never got it with I never understood the meaning of how eggs work. I'm just like, egg happened. There's egg. There's egg. It's like, oh no, I understood that. Oh no, dinosaurs hatch from these things. And now they said that how they keep them under control is no longer a control situation. Now they're running loose and now there's tiny ones. And that means the raptors can, it's fucking like, I hope it's like, oh no. If the raptors didn't fucking kill off, if it wasn't for the fact that they didn't make only female ones, the raptors would have been able to breed, and that would have been fucking tragedy.
Yeah.
They didn't make more than one. They didn't make more than one of them, make them all female. It's like, oh, boy. But how Newman went down was like, haha, hilarious. That's what you get. One, yeah, because you fucked everything up, and then you could, but it's like, you saw you knew that the hurricane was coming. Why in the hell did you fuck up everything right before it started? Also, Dr. Hammond, Dr. Hammond, fucking Mr. Hammond, you knew this shit was coming. It's like, for over a week, it's like, let's continue it anyway. This is a perfect time. It's like, no. You are in Costa Rica, a place that gets hit by these kinds of monsoons and stuff like the same at almost the same rate Florida does. You should have planned for this. The people when they made Disney World, they planned for the fact of hurricanes are going to hit this motherfucker. We don't want the spires from the castle. We don't want to come back to the spire for the castles and like fucking broken into Space Mountain. You gotta, you have to plan for these things. There's a lot of shit in this. It's just like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm expected to understand this. I'm expected for this to make sense to me. because it's like we have to have some reason why none of the staff are here and they don't all get fucking murdered when the fucking dinosaurs get loose. No, we have to make sure it's like a few people because we don't want to end up like Jurassic World where we have to like either make CGI people or pay for or pay a bunch of fucking actors to run in one direction and almost die.
Sam Jackson's death too, like off screen somehow, and then they left that arm there, or he was trying to escape and they ate everything but the arm.
I love how like how the arm falls into place. It's like, wait, did they eat him in the corner? Like in the corner of a room, or it was like in a small corner, and suddenly it's like, oh, she's like, oh, thank goodness it's you. It's like, oh no, it's an arm. Fuck. It's like, wait. Why did they just leave his arm? They didn't leave. Did they leave the arm of the other people? Was it to trick her? Because it clearly didn't work because she got away. Yeah, I guess that's the horror aspect of it.
Right. Yeah, and that's another one that I didn't understand until I got older. Of like, oh, that's who supposedly died. Like I was just like, oh, some human arm, but I didn't make the connection of which character that was and how so many of these guys are dying. They're getting killed by these raptors who are running around.
None of the black people lived in that movie. None of the black people on screen lived in that movie. The one worker in the raptor pen was black. He died. Samuel L. Jackson was the other black guy. He died. It's like I guess you don't get to be black in these movies and live. Even in the third movie, there was a black guy. He died instantly too. It's like fucking shit.
Yeah.
You said Steven Spielberg. Do we need to talk? Do I have to get the people on you?
The people.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm fucking not that kind of person.
In Dominion now, they have a lead black actor, so they've corrected that since, along with Chris Pratt. They have to, right?
Yeah, and then so I want to bring up the music in it because, of course, it's John Williams. Yay! Fucking Star Wars, fucking guy who did Star Wars, the first Star Wars things. It's like, thankfully, there's nothing in it that sounded Star Wars like. Thankfully, even though there are other movies later on that's like, I was like, this sounds like something from Jurassic Park, or this sounds like something from Star Wars. Like John Williams, you're being lazy right now. Fucking do better. You're like over 100 years. You're like almost 100 years old, dude. Come on.
He's like, who gives a shit? I'm almost dead.
It's like I get paid thousands of dollars to fucking help make the score for these movies. I'm not just to stand there with the breathing mask on and fucking flick around a stick from distance away from all those other people because I can't be standing right now. But it's the music where they're like landing the helicopter. I like the music of that part, and then where they're driving, and they're like, it's so whimsical in the beginning. It's like, look at all the whimsy all the dinosaurs do, and then suddenly it's like, no, this shit's fucked up. We're not gonna have any epic music happening. It's like we're not gonna have any epic music happening again until the end, or the one scene that with Timmy and his dumbass being fucking just it's like it's an electric fence, you idiot. The lights the sound are blaring. I don't care how scared you are. Even I was scared of heights as a child, but when I hear suddenly sirens go off, it's like it's time to get down, honey. It's time to run, and like you get electrocuted, and it's time to fucking do CPR. Thank goodness he knew proper CPR. You would have been, or you'd be dinosaur food.
Yeah, and that it worked. And I love that it exploded him off the fence.
It's like, oh no, it's not gonna explode him off the fence. He's gonna look like Sarah Connor in her little dream sequence when the bombs drop. He's gonna light the flame. He's gonna light on fire instantly. He's gonna they're gonna be sparks, but he's gonna be holding on to that bitch for dear life on fire.
Yeah, you're right though. The music is amazing in the Jurassic Park main theme. They still use them throughout all of them. It's recognizable. You can hum it. I hum it to Leo, and he recognizes it immediately. They got that like military type music, like dun 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 dun. So like when things are like, all right, now we're getting to the more serious part, and then yeah, they have the more horror aspects when the Velociraptor's running around. So the score is amazing. It truly is great.
Yeah, we'll have the soft theme. We'll have the soft version of the theme when Grant's with the kids, or when Ellie's freaking talking to Dr. Hammond while he's sitting there eating his ice cream and not trying to help with the situation at all.
Let's talk about the look of these dinosaurs, because the special effects. I did learn as I was watching the Netflix documentary that they intended on going stop motion on the dinosaurs in the film, and there's some footage that you can find on YouTube, and it's also on the Netflix show, of the velociraptors in the kitchen scene and how they had already started working on those as stop motion. And they were going through the process of putting motion blur on the special effects for the claymation so that it wouldn't look as jarring, as like jittery as they were moving, kind of like we understand claymation to move. So he was working on that because Spielberg would notice that when the velociraptors and when the dinosaurs moved, there was no motion blur, so it looked too clear when the clay stuff was moving. So he's like, no, that's not realistic enough. So then they were using computers to add that motion blur to try to make them better and cleaner and nicer. But one of the guys that was working on the special effects team, he went behind the team's back, and on the low, he made a 3D model of a T-Rex running or walking. So when Kathleen Kennedy, I believe, was one of the producers, they were going to go in and they wanted to look at the footage of these dinosaurs and these special effects. This guy snuck in his footage of the T-Rex running into the presentation without anyone else knowing, and it blew the producers away. And they were like, this looks amazing. And that's when they hired him and his team to now convert everything into making them all CG and making all the dinosaur CG. And the guy that was working on the claymation stuff, he was pissed off because he was fired basically.
Oh, God.
Like, and that changed things, because if this had been a claymation film and it had still been a success, we probably would have seen claymation for some more years and used in special effects and to a large degree. And in this case, it didn't end up happening. And now we have like crazy CG for almost every movie. The nice happy ending to it is these computer animators, they animated these dinosaurs, but it didn't look right. Like the dinosaurs did not look like and move like dinosaurs or animals at all. It was too stiff and too computerized. And that's when they brought back this claymation guy. They're like, look, these guys don't know how animals move. And he's like, I know. You can't do that with computers. You can only do it. So he's like, they're like, we need you to consult and show these guys how a raptor would move or how a T-Rex would move. So they brought him back on, and he, along with the rest of the team, won the Oscar for special effects. But it was just kind of neat how they got this claymation guy to convert to, okay, let me help out these CG guys and really make this work. And I think it ended up doing great. Do you think it did age a little bit, though, now that we have 4K and high definition as far as the CG effects?
Yeah, because, okay, so the dinosaurs, like, being 100% blended in with some of the HD pictures, like, yeah, you could see, like, a little bit of jank in them. But it's not, but it's still pretty impressive. For the time, it's like, that it's like, it's not going to be 1-to-1. It's better, because if it was full claymation, it could have ended up like fucking Clash of the Titans from 1981. Fucking
right.
Fucking standing in front of the claymation thing, and those claymation things look hideous. But it's like we weren't, because it's like it could have ended up like that, or looking like the California raisins, and that would have, or like
Thanos.
It could have ended up looking like, I forget the name of this one claymation movie. It was maybe the same guy who makes freaking all the claymation shit, and it
Tim
was no. Well, this Tim Burton uses this guy, but I'm trying to remember what his name was. But he's the one who did. No, it's not Aardman.
I think it is Harryhausen.
I think the people who make the claymation, they're called Aardman or something like that. I think I'm getting it wrong. I know it's wrong because it doesn't feel right. What I'm saying doesn't sound right. I'm kind of looking it up right. I'm kind of semi looking it up right now. But the whole like all the claymation stuff, there was like this one movie. There's this one small small set of films made by this famous claymation company makes all the fucking fancy claymation model shit, and they made this like creepy ass movie of like these kids like dealing with this faceless monster who somehow they have to go through like hell, Hades and hell and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It was just the weirdest it was the weirdest fucking movie, and it's like I think that's what it might have ended up like this if I can find the damn movie, the name of this movie. It's driving me nuts because it's gonna take me forever to find the name of it because I have to look through multiple YouTube videos because I saw a YouTube video about it like years ago, and I have to like go to this one channel, look it up, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not gonna do that right now. But like, because you can have like some claymation and stuff that looks good, like The Night Before Christmas, and some movies like and all those other movies that have like the claymation like stuff that Tim Burton has his hands all over it, or like 8. That's a good claymation movie. I like that, or Coraline, but we're not going to get, but we're not at those levels yet because they also needed like computers to help enhance a couple things in here and there. It's not all. It's like computers and claymation and any art. Computers can help enhance art. An example that I can actually use with a name to it is for like anime. There's this anime company called UFO Table, where they essentially will use 3D models and then have the animators like animate stuff around. And so it makes like for this one anime called Fate Zero. Essentially, they had all these 3D models, and the animators would animate around it, and it would look so smooth and all this stuff to the point where people are thinking, "Oh, it's like if they can make animation cells this well, they must have a shit ton of money and all this." Like, no, they just cheat and use computers because computers can help you. You know, you don't have to have like. It's like because they were full CG back in the time, they would have ended up coming out looking like fucking Toy Story, and it would have been weird. Right. And if it was just claymation, it would have still looked weird. The fact that they said let's mold this stuff together made the dinosaurs look even better than what they came out with, and how like I need to watch this special because I want to see how do the actors interact with these things, because I never actually went and looked at like behind the scenes stuff for Jurassic Park, or if I did, I don't remember any of it.
The scene where they're seeing the Triceratops is the first time that the actors got to see like a dinosaur, because there is nothing behind them. Like when they see the big Brontosaurus, they're not looking at anything. So that helped in their reaction when they see the Triceratops of like Ellie crying and them like touching this is a lot of the actors used a lot of that because they're like, okay, this is tangible. This is like, that was the first time that they got to interact with one of the puppets. Because you do see some of that in the film. The T-Rex has this amazing giant big puppet head that was a pain in the ass for them to create. And in the scene when it's in the rain and it's going after the Jeeps, the styrofoam, the foam that they used to make the T-Rex ended up swelling because of all the water and all the rain. Like Spielberg was like, no, it's fine, get it wet. And they were like, we probably shouldn't. And it ended up breaking the model quite a bit. Like they weren't able to use the animatronic as well. And again, it swelled up the puppet. So they had to later on, the CG guys had to change the model of the T-Rex to be more swollen because it had to match the puppet that they used in the rain. So he had to go back and change all of that. But I love when they use the puppets though. Like I know you can easily tell like, okay, that's CGI, that's a puppet, that's an animatronic. It's pretty jarring as far, but the puppets look amazing. The animatronics look great. They use it for the Velociraptor in some scenes. The T-Rex, obviously, the Dilophosaurus that kills Newman.
It's like okay, this looks exactly like the thing from the ride. It's like you can tell it's like where it's like okay, there's the umbrella parts of it, where it's like it's like I've seen enough Muppets and Muppet like things to understand how when puppets are being used, you guys.
I almost prefer it though, like it just because it's real, it's there, it's in front of them. I don't know. Like I really
and like it's something that we could tangibly. It's something that we could that it's like because even back then it's like you could tell when the CGI parts are going on. Like when the dinosaurs are like when the raptors are on top of the bones with the trying to get the actors when they're on top of when they're at the main center. It's like okay. At those points, that's where the CGI starts kind of falling apart because they're interacting the dinosaurs with like actual sets and shit, and because the raptors are the ones making the damn things move from them jumping on it. And it's not the actors, but it's like kind of clunky because you could tell it's just like oh, there's like little machines up there spinning the damn things around and make damn things around and all this shit. Because you don't see them actually. You never see the fucking raptor actually push the door open and fucking leap into the room, because that would have been a fucking disaster to see that. Because it's like you have to have an actor you have to have an actor be able to someone like make the door and have to have like rig the door to open slowly and like how to have the raptor just like be like push the thing open and then somehow instinctively let go of the door and let the rest of itself in there. And then the fact that they missed shooting it when it fucking came through the glass, like the fucking thing came through the glass. It should have been like, ow. It should have reacted to the fact that it had glass shards in it, and you should have been able to shoot it without missing. But nope, he shot it and he missed. It's like, no. There should be a fucking raptor with bullet holes in it right now. But it's like, it's fine. I let it go. Let's crawl through the vents because we're about to get to the good part where the T-Rex just comes in to start fucking murdering velociraptors, and then he just roars while everything's falling apart, and all the actors leave, and it's like all the actors are leaving, and he's like, he's not gonna go after them. I guess he's got enough food right there. I guess okay, that works.
Yeah, that was one of two scenes where, again, the CGI. So when the raptor is like clawing up the T-Rex, this is the first time when I was watching it in HD of like, oh, you see blood and you see some scratching on the T-Rex, and those are the same scratches they ended up matching in Jurassic World to that T-Rex. That way you know that it's the same T-Rex from the first Jurassic Park film.
The fact that they managed to find and capture the same T-Rex what I thought it was is amazing.
Yeah. And it's old as fuck, I'm sure, by the time Jurassic World comes out, but it still takes on that Indominus Rex with the help of Blue.
That's because the Indominus Rex is just an oversized raptor, and it's like, fuck you. It's like you might have some parts of me, but you ain't me. I'm the old mama around here, and you're the, you're old. I might be old and busted, but your new hotness ain't good enough.
But yeah, that scene when he's getting scratched up, it's like, all right, you can see some of the early CG there, and it kind of falls apart a little bit there. And then with the Brontosaurus too, because I don't think they ever meant for you to be able to see that much of its skin up close in HD, because you see it's blurry when you're looking at its underside.
Yeah, it's one of those like things where it's like in old movies, it's like fat makeup in old movies. It's like I can see where it's like, oh no, HD is showing where they blended the makeup in, and it's not doing a good job.
Yeah, like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh, freaking even the first Nutty Professor movie is so bad it's like you shouldn't watch it in too much HD. It's like, what? Just no, because it's like I can see where Eddie Murphy's fat skin and or even like Big Mama's House, where. Especially in Big Mama's House. And Big Mama's House is bad. It's like they didn't blend that shit into fucking Martin Lawrence at all.
But Medea movies, though, they're flawless.
But the thing is, Tyler Perry doesn't I think because Tyler Perry actually started using his stuff, and he actually understood when HD cameras started becoming a thing.
Well, so I like to think that it would have been perfect even back then.
It would have been perfect back then. It would have been fine back then, but like also he had to refine it because when they started filming Tyler Perry was a perfectionist back when he did his plays and shit. So most likely he would have figured out, it's like, we got to figure out how to get this makeup to blend into my face so I don't look like a fucking weirdo.
But outside of that, though, like the special effects are still amazing to me, at least. Did you still find that they're like, no, this is good? Like even by today's standards.
Good. I still like it. I think that, it's the fact that it's 1991 and that that other CGI films, even back then, it's like as a child you could be taken out of certain things. Which movie was it that it used CGI a bunch of times and then my brain just kind of like, The Great Mouse. Like when I watched The Great Mouse Detective as a child, the CGI scenes in that were kind of like, okay, the animation, the stuff looks funny. Or what's another movie that
Toy Story right now looks really dated, but
Toy Story 1 is dated as shit. But because fucking all the human characters look terrifying. It's like their hair's weird, their skin looks awful. It's like they It's like they tried, but it's like the toys work because they're all fucking plastic. And it's like that's the whole thing. It's like you're gonna make you're gonna take CGI back then. It's like make it look plastic. Fucking, it's like they look like bad reboot characters. There was another movie I was trying to think of that. Oh, some of the scenes in Aladdin where they're like on the flying carpet, in the Cave of Wonders. It's like ew, 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 ew. Hell, even Shrek, even some parts of Shrek still look like. In Shrek 1, it's like, no, that's bad. It gets better, but it's bad right now.
Yeah,
I think the only film that I watched where the CG didn't look bad when they were splicing things together with the normal with like some of the stuff was The Prince of Egypt. But The Prince of Egypt had a certain style to it, which I think the 3D helped with some of the big sprawling backgrounds and the pharaoh heads and all the fire with the fire and and the whole story with the spirit coming in people's houses and fucking in and out, and that shit was amazing.
Yeah, it worked great.
It worked great in that movie, and that's the only 90s movie I can think of off the top of my head that CGI blending CGI and other elements working with it.
That wasn't 2000s Prince of Egypt?
No, the Prince of Egypt came out in 1997, 8.
Wow, okay. Yeah, Jurassic Park was 1993, so we were getting into it for sure at that point.
Let's see here. So I did find out that David Coep, the screenwriter for the movie, that wasn't Michael Crichton. Because of course Michael Crichton had his fingers and he's like, I'm not gonna let you make a movie about my book and not be a part of this. Thankfully. I don't want to, thankfully. It's like, but this dude has been in, Michael Coep has been, he came back, he was in freaking Lost World. I don't see, he has no Jurassic Park 3, no credit. He was not part of Jurassic Park 3. Gotcha. He's only screenwriter in 1 and 2 and like a couple of and like some like one of the video games, and then the most recent one that I remember him being in, which sucks to be you, buddy, but I guess everybody needs money, is that Mummy movie with
the Tom Cruise one.
Yes, the Tom Cruise movie.
I got to see that one still.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise movie. It's let's just say I don't know how the other movie seems, where it's like, let's take a horror movie and turn it into an action movie, and turn it into an adventure action movie. Somehow that works more than the one where it's like, let's kind of make it into a horror movie again. But it's weird. I don't hate it, but I don't really like it. It's just one of those movies where it's like at a certain point, I think I just froze and stopped processing it and just watched it as a movie. And I think that's one of the things in movies where it's like, oh no, you did a bad thing, because that means I'm not going to retain what the fuck happened in this movie.
Yeah.
But I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I don't know how much I don't think there's anything else I could gush about it, except like there's one thing at the end that bugs me a little bit about how it ended. I think he wanted to bring, I think it's time to bring up how this movie ended, where that cheesy line is like at the end where they're leaving. It's like, Dr. Hammond, it's not like Jurassic Park. He's like, so have I. It's like, okay. And then like that scene where they're about to get on the helicopter and he's looking back. It's like, oh no. It's like, if you're going to go back, at least show like fucking, like, I don't know, like maybe like the building falling apart or something. If you're going to like have him go back and look at my creation falling apart. It's like, no, dude, just get in the fucking helicopter. It's time to leave before something happens, like in the Weird Al music video about his Jurassic Park song, where a T-Rex just comes in and fucking bites down on the helicopter and fucking kills people. It's like, it's time to go. In the scene where he's like holding on to the kids and Ellie's just sitting there smiling, and it's like, he figured it out. It's like he likes it. It's like he's gonna want to start a family with you and blah blah blah. And then the third movie comes along and it's like, no. It's like, no, found somebody different, not you, and it's not you.
Yeah,
it's like you're still friends, and she's safe, and luckily she's the only smart person to call the army in the third movie and saves your ass. But it's like this is stupid. And then the pterodactyls are flying away and getting out. We never showed off pterodactyls in this movie.
No,
it's like, were they pterodactyls? At first I thought they were seagulls. I'm like, wait, no, those pterodactyls. They're getting out. And then the third movie,
in the second one, right? Yeah.
In the second, and then and then they showed up in the second one, and then the third one they were prominent,
right?
And then like they're getting away. It's like, don't let them get away. They're gonna go out and breed places. And then when they came out with fucking the second Jurassic World movie, it's like, why are you all surprised that dinosaurs got out? This is not the first time that they've escaped. There have been pterodactyls. Apparently, there are pterodactyls
For years.
breeding on some nearby fucking Caribbean island somewhere, killing off people and starting fucking starting fucking chupacabra myths or something. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, but those motherfuckers are out there. They've already been out there. The fact that but no. It's like, why is everybody happy? This is not a happy moment. Yes, they escaped, but there's now a whole island full of dinosaurs that most likely that could possibly escape.
I'm glad you brought this up, because I would have forgotten, and we're about to wrap up, but like, I wanted to bring this up because at the very end, as I'm watching this, you have that line of, I've decided not to endorse your park, so have I. And it's like, okay, they leave and then they get on the helicopter and then credits roll. And I'm like, whoa, there's like, it doesn't feel like it's finalized. Like, it feels like there's something, you need something else, because you're happy they're escaped, and Dr. Grant's journey is over. Like you mentioned, he's okay with kids now, and it's theorized that maybe he and Ellie would start one, and obviously they didn't, but that's how it kind of ends. Hammond still looks depressed as fuck, like, looking back. So it's almost like he hasn't accepted the fact that he's lost his entire park.
Yeah, it's like, even until you don't see him until the second movie, and then essentially it's like he's like trying to do these humanitarian efforts to keep them safe and all this shit. But it's like, at first you think he'd be devastated by this whole. It's like you don't show Hammond at all. After a certain point, it's like okay, he's done. We don't show him or Dr. Malcolm anymore. We've gotten the scene. Let's show the main character in his final arc. It's like, no. Dr. Hammond went from fucking eccentric happy man about this to I'm ruined.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
How he keeps his fancy mansion and he has in the second movie is amazing.
Yeah.
To be honest. And like, I guess he has his money in other places, because that's the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head.
Or the research that he bought up could still be used, and maybe he sold some of those things.
Because Jurassic World I didn't get the answer to my question about one of the things, like, what happened to the scientists who made all this shit?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do you think that the people that the head scientists, all the scientists who made all this stuff, were just gonna sit down and be all cool with it? It's like, oh no, Jurassic World answered that question.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking no, he turns out it's like, no, I'm an asshole. No, look at me, Doctor. I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's some random Asian name.
The actor's name is BD Wong.
BD Wong. I think his name is something different, but I think his name is something different, but it's BD Wong, and I don't know.
Well, that's the actor's name.
Wong, but his name is Dr. Wu. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Swing for the fences there, Spielberg. Anyway, fucking Dr. Wu. It's like, oh, he's selling some of the stuff to other people for who it doesn't matter. I'm a fucking scientist. I'm gonna do it's like, I'm getting what I want to do, I get to make these things and do what I want. Haha, evil scientist playing God. Evil scientist playing God. It's like, that makes sense. Like, the fact that the kids are like, it's like, there's no aftermath of all this shit going on until Jurassic World comes back. It's like, we don't want to think about the aftermath. We've solved the problem. It's like, he pulled the ET. It's like, ET's gone now. ET left. Mm-hmm. He flew off. Credits roll.
Yeah, that's exactly
what. But I don't. But ET, we got the emotional closure we needed. He put his gross fingers on Elliot, said, "I'll be right here," and then waddled his fat ass away. It's like, that makes that's a satisfying ending. I feel it's like the same with Jaws. It's like, we don't see them. It's like, he kills the shark and then they just float away on the boat and it's over. It's like, they're gonna show him like getting back to the thing, showing that he was right, claiming, everybody praising him as a hero or something. No, just showing him escape, just showing them fucking escaping on some boat. Okay, woo, hooray! Jaws it's like, but it's like, that's how Jaws ends. I guess Spielberg has a problem with has ending issues, maybe. I don't know.
Could be. That fucking cracked me up, man. His disgusting finger and then shuffled his fat ass away, man.
Because I love E.T. I love the movie. I like, the whole character is hilarious. Look at the book. I like the movie, regardless of the horror imagery it became to me as a child. I'm not afraid of fucking dinosaurs eating people, but I'm afraid of the scary sight about the scary dude in white coats coming. Scary dudes with white coats trying to take my alien, my dying alien away from me that I'm also dying from, and to the point where it's like, and like putting covering my house in a fucking bubble. That's scary, but everything else is like fine. No,
Yeah.
but it's like I guess, like I said, I guess Steven Spielberg has a hard time with had a hard time with decent endings in the beginning, because I don't even think, because it's like I go back and think about some of the other movies he's done. It's like, well,
And
I mean,
Encounters of
I
the
can't
Third
really,
Kind was his big one.
yeah, yeah, I can't remember how that ended off the top of my head now that I think about it.
And aliens probably fly away as well. And yeah.
Oh yeah, wait, no, I think they just fly away in that one actor, or they. Maybe most likely. I'll just assume that. We'll just assume that at this point. Oh no, Poltergeist.
There you go.
But when he produced that movie, I don't think that counts, does it?
Maybe not. Like Tiny Toons wouldn't count.
It does. Also, I will never forget this, because I never forget the fact that a white man who who went to film school and all this shit, suddenly he's helping produce the Color Purple movie. I don't know if that's supposed to be just like, is it a fluff piece for him? Is this to make him look good? I helped produce the movie about suffering black people.
There you go.
It's like that makes me a good person, right? Person, right? Sure, Jan, sure. Sure, Jan, sure. The first time it's like Steven Spielberg hasn't said anything stupid, so I get anything actually stupid. So I guess you're fine, and you can go on being whatever the hell you do, whatever the hell it is you do, and then go. But when it comes to directing things like Ready Player One, just no. I didn't really like that movie. I didn't really care for that movie. And of course, you directed Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull movie, which no one likes to talk about that. They talk about that, but you did Hook, and at least Hook ended decently.
There you go.
There you go. Hook was a good one.
you got one.
You get one out of me, and that's the only other movie I can think of off the top of my head out of all the things you've done that I feel like is really a you. Well, he did do AI.
He also did that Lincoln film, I think, recently, but that's like kind of a semi-biography.
See, you said Lincoln the film, and my brain instantly thinks about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Killer. It's like, wait, he directed Abraham Lincoln Vampire Killer? That movie was stupid. Why the hell did they do that? Was that a contractual obligation? Did someone say, you have to direct this? You owe me? Oh, that'd be hilarious.
The other weird scene too, that now that you brought up the ending, that I was watching this, I'm like, why is this scene in here? It's almost like they didn't know what to do with what character Ian Malcolm was going to be, because at first he's this funny, weird scientist guy, and then it gets to the scene where they go into they're stuck in the T-Rex area, or they're heading to it, and then he's talking about how he's like, "Do you have any kids?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think he says I've got 3 of them," and he's like, with different ex-wives, and I'm always on the lookout for the next ex-Miss Malcolm. She's not single, is she? And he's like, no. And so it's got this weird thing of like, they're trying to make him sort of like the weird creep in a way, but then they move away from it and they get to the T-Rex scene. And I was just kind of like, why was that scene in there? Like, if it didn't develop either character.
No. And then you find out it's like, well, he only has one that he keeps up with, I guess. In the next movie, it's like, he only keeps up with his conveniently all black daughter.
Yeah. That's the only one you see. And I don't know if they'll do, I doubt they'll do more in the new one, but yeah, it doesn't explain really. Maybe it tells you why. You know what? I kind of do get it now, because when he goes in when they're in the T-Rex and he's like, they're scared. What about the kids? And he's concerned for the kids. And that's what prompts Dr. Grant to do something about it. So Ian, as a parent, has that same kind of like, we should be doing something about this. We should be rescuing them. So I guess that does explain it, but they did it in a weird way. Like, I'm always.
I guess that explains why he got on the cart like an idiot, just waving the flares around like.
Wanted to save the kids, but didn't know how to actually get the T-Rex to chase the flare like Dr. Grant did. It responds to movement. Don't move.
It's like knowledge versus
nurture.
Emotion. I don't know. It's just, it's like, I can dissect this movie till the cows come home, because I like a movie when I dissect it to pieces. Because it's like, if you can't shit on what you like, well, okay, you can't, because you can't give decent arguments on why people are wrong. On why people are wrong. It's like people can tell me about all the unethical shit about how hyenas are treated in Lion King, but I'll tell them still, That's not the point, though. It's written after Hamlet, and the thing about Hamlet is they're the other house in Hamlet. Get over it. Get over it. It's not about this weird hyena controversy that somehow spawned from that movie. It's about it's Hamlet. Let it go. It's like with this movie. It's like who in the hell is this other company, and why wouldn't they put more of an effort to get Newman off the island? Because he's supposed to die. Because that's the point. He's an asshole. He's an asshole. He did asshole things. He's supposed to set up the reason why everything stops working, and fucking the contrived reason of why everything stops working. Besides, the hurricane that hits the island, which would make a lot more sense of a hurricane taking out all the power on the thing, and the dinosaurs kind of running wild. But no. It's also because of hacking bullshit.
Right.
You say the magic word.
I love that. Please hate this hacker crap. Sam Jackson.
Yeah, poor Sam Jackson. And then he starts in another supposedly horror movie involving animals with sharks, and then he's making a big dramatic speech, and they get eaten.
Oh,
like
that's
they just
right.
people see this break into the thing, eat him, and then it's gone. He's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna stop being the smart scientist in these movies, and I'm just gonna be a random motherfucker shouting about snakes on a plane.
Well, I'll have a question for you after the credits theme here, but thank you, Julian, for jumping on this retrospective for our Patreon broquettes, and for everyone else that enjoys this 4 weeks later. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you and what Lazy Gaming Guys is all about.
Yes, I am one of the three-headed Cerberus called the Lazy Gaming Guys. We stream on YouTube on Wednesdays. We, stream video games of whatever choosing we like. This Wednesday, I will be going back to my streams of Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke, which is a specialized it's more of a personal specialized Pokemon run where I can't let any of the things die or I fail. There's more to it, but you want to know more to it, you'll just have to watch it, because that's the Wednesday of this recording. But I'm going to be continuing it till it's done. It's not going to be done by the time this comes out in a month later from now. Trust me. For you non-patron viewers, but for the patron viewers, trust me, you'll be seeing more of it. Also, you can find us at Lazy Gaming Guys on Twitter. We also keep a link to our Discord on said Twitter and also our videos. You can also find me at Kage023 on, or just might be just Kage0, I forgot. On Twitter, I mostly share whatever random art and memes that I can find, because I don't really have anything to say, because most of the time if I'm saying anything, it's most likely going to be me commenting about how someone's stupid about their opinions, and I don't want to be that person on Twitter, so I just read them and then call them stupid in my own home, so I don't attract unnecessary attention.
You're just not used to it yet.
Oh, no, I'm used to it in person. Have you met who my best friend is? It's like Scott and because we all have different opinions. That's the good thing about Lazy Gaming Guys. We don't all share the same opinion. We'll all jump. Some of us will jump on one person about our opinions, but unlike the other two, I don't let it get to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Because I'm an adult. Still, more of an adult than they are.
Yeah, I was going to say in some ways, yeah.
In some ways. Other ways, but then, I'm also the goofball that's willing to do stupid dances in public.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
But that's pretty much about me.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you again. And to you on the other side, if you have been enjoying the episode, let's say you're not on Patreon, but you have been enjoying this, you can get every week's episode early. If you head on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke, every week's episode, those go up at least a day early ahead of schedule. And then when we do put out our Patreon, again, episodes, they are a month early at the very least. So patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke, for as little as $0.25 per episode. That ends up being about $1 a month. You can help support the podcast. So we do appreciate that. And we do appreciate our current Patreon backers who are enjoying this episode right now and help keep the show going for sure. And for a link on everywhere you can find us, head on over to thereasonsimbroke.com. Otherwise, thank you all once again for joining us on this retrospective. I've been Daniel, joined by Julian and Brocat Core. All will be well. So, Julian, since you recently watched the 3 movies, and I'm sure you've seen Jurassic World and The Lost Kingdom.
Oh God, I hate the Lost Kingdom so much. You have no idea.
Indoraptor, man.
Just no, not the not the Endoraptor. The Lost Kingdom with freaking dinosaur DNA girl. Ugh.
Dinosaur DNA. Oh, yes, that's right. Because they were trying to clone the dead
It's
girl,
dinosaur
right?
DNA clone. It's dinosaur clone girl. It's girl clone made from dinosaur, made from same thing that cloned dinosaurs. Whoopee. I can't wait till she randomly just lays a dinosaur egg and they can just reproduce.
And they almost went with human dinosaur hybrids. Did you ever see that concept art for Jurassic World?
Yes, I did, and that was weird. I was like, thank God they didn't go there. That would have been stupid.
And
that's where it's like this is like B movie stupid.
they kept some elements though, because the whole thing, the backlash was that they were using dinosaurs. They would strap them with machine guns, the raptors, and then they would use the dinosaurs to like fight wars or in weapons. And they kind of went there a little bit where Owen trains velociraptors and they're running around. They have their cameras on and they can use them to hunt the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World. So they kept some elements in there. But my question to you, now that you've seen all the dinosaurs, you've seen a bunch of great Jurassic World deaths and Jurassic Park deaths. Which, if you were to be killed, on-screen killed by a dinosaur, who would you want to go down by?
Oh, that's a fucking. To be honest,
it makes sense because we were talking about black characters. So
yeah, to be honest, I think my first one would have to be that one dinosaur, that fucking that one giant underwater dinosaur from Jurassic World, because that thing, at least it doesn't fucking tear you to shreds to eat you. It just chomps down on you when it's over.
Well, that was going to be my answer, but if he swallows you whole, like he doesn't chew you up, you're going to be alive for a little bit in its throat.
Eventually you'll lose air and you'll pass out, but
That's
you're not
true.
going to like feel yourself being fucking acid burned alive. Maybe,
Yeah,
or you might drown in there or something first.
hopefully, yeah.
I don't know, but like, if I wanted to go out a cooler way, I kind of would want to like. Well, no. Actually, that might be the only way. I can't think of another way actually, because everything else is just so painful. It's just like they just maul everything else mauls you. The pterodactyls just juggle you through the air until you just until you slam into a goddamn rock and royally, and then they start picking at you after you're dead already.
Oh yeah, or in Jurassic World, they were drowning that one girl up and down, and I think in the 3rd Jurassic Park, don't they tear some guy apart or something?
Fucking. I think a dude gets like. Yeah, I think somebody gets torn in half. I think somebody got torn in half. I think it was actually the second one. I'm not sure because because the deaths in these movies are just kind of stop like after a while. It's like dinosaur kill. Yay, done. Okay, but like I have a question for you.
Sure.
Now, which Jurassic Park movie has a scene that makes you go super? What the fuck? How in the world is this possible?
As far as like special effects, or
just like a scene in general, because mine is the scene in the second movie where they're in that trailer and the T-Rexes are knocking it off and like the chick's like on the glass and like it's slowly like cracking as she moves. It's like that's not how glass works. That scene irks me.
right? Yeah. So I'd have to think on that one. But when you're talking about that scene too, they were being dicks to that guy at the top for no reason. Where they're like, "Yeah, we need a rope," and he's like, "Okay, what else?" And then they're like, "A cheeseburger with fries," and it's like, the guy, why are you guys being assholes to him? Like he's legitimately asking, "What else?"
Also, that was Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, no, that wasn't Vince Vaughn. It was the Vince Vaughn doing that. It was like this random doughy guy. Poor doughy guy. He didn't deserve to go out like that.
No, he didn't. He was trying to save them, and that's it. The T-Rex got him, I think, right?
They did. It was fucking. It was also. They also tried to put Vince Vaughn in that movie to inject some comedy into the Lost World. I mean, the Lost World was a hot mess of its own, and like so many levels, to the point where a lot of people until like. And essentially, when the second Jurassic World movie came out, everyone's waiting to see what this next movie is going to be like, to see if it's true that Jurassic Park fails on the second one and then kind of builds itself back up again on the third one. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence about seeing the next Jurassic World movie because the second one was so bad. It ruined a date because we both stopped fucking paying attention to each other, paying attention to the movie, and fucking started complaining about it the whole way home. I'm like, and then when he left, I realized like, shit, Shit, we didn't even kiss each other goodbye. We kissed each other goodnight. That fucking movie completely just derailed the romance. Thanks, Jurassic World 2, you Fallen Kingdom. You ruined my entire date. Ugh.